Happy Monday and happy Rival Demons, beginning of Rival Demons Day. I'm so excited. For those of you that have not read this book before, today we start off with a total bang. It is literally a pickup from the last moment of Shadow Demons. We move straight into Rival Demons, and there is action galore, and I will end it today on a big twist. At least I feel like it's a pretty good twist that many of you don't know anything about yet, so I'm excited to introduce this to you. I hope you all had a great weekend. I'm telling you so much, like from the bottom of my heart, that after a couple of weeks of hard time, like anxiety stuff, it was like a true balm to my heart to be able to hang out with you guys on Friday and know that you were going to be here for me today and that we were going to hang out again. I really have come to love this, and I've mentioned before that I keep this 5-year journal that is a Hobonichi 5-year journal. So it's 366 days in the journal, or 366 pages, and it has 5 slots. So it goes all the way from 2020 to 2024. And so this is my first year, like going into the second slot and filling out 2021. And just recently, a few weeks back, I read about the finale of The Witch's Key and how much just how much it meant to me to read The Witch's Key to you guys, and to have that finale moment was one of the best things I've ever had, like in terms of community. And that was just so special to me. And now I'm reading back through, because this time last year I was going through edits and about to publish the edited version of it. So it's just fun to read back through all of that. And I just am so grateful for all of you. So this is exciting. And I definitely was happy to see you guys on Friday. The weekend was pretty good. It was such nice weather, and I know that some of you are dealing with cold weather. Like, I had a couple hours to meet with Janet. We always meet on Monday mornings, and bless her heart, it is like the equivalent of 30, 40 degrees there where she is today. I don't know if she'll be here this afternoon or not, but I just was like, oh my gosh, I feel so sad for anybody who's having unusually cold weather this time of year. We have been really blessed with some nice weather here in Charleston. So we went out to the beach yesterday and we had such a great time. But I woke up today with real anxiety again, just kind of out of nowhere. And also, I will say this, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I know somebody had said something. So I have that book of lists that I've been keeping, and we've been keeping track of what we're watching. And we watched No Game, No Life, which was only like 11 or 12 episodes. But we've also, George and I have been watching Dexter, because we watched that show like religiously when it was first coming out. And then we kind of fell off at season 6, and we picked it back up because I was like, oh, I really want to finish watching that. And so we finally watched the ending, like the finale of the show. So I won't put any spoilers for anybody who has not watched that, but it was literally one of the worst finales of a long show that I've ever seen. George was like, that's right up there with Lost in my book. And it's just like, oh, it was just so disappointing. And I've heard that they are actually planning to record another season of Dexter, but I'm just like, oh, I think I did not sleep well last night, because I kept thinking about how terribly executed that finale was. Y'all, it was literally one of the worst finales. And I'm pretty easy to please. Like, I just pretty much enjoy everything. Like, I'm along for the ride. I am one of those people who actually loved the ending of Game of Thrones, but I know we won't go there because I know that's like traumatic for some of you. But for the most part, even Lost, I was kind of like, well, I can see where they were going with it or whatever. But with this, y'all, if you are watching Dexter and you never have seen the ending, just skip the last season. Just let it go. Write your own ending. I was like, this is going to make me want to write fan fiction to just write a better ending to Dexter, because they had opportunity for his character growth. It made me very sad and disappointed. So anyway, so I also wanted to show you guys a couple things. I got some gifts yesterday. Now, these were all things that I picked out on the website, and I showed them off kind of on my Instagram a little bit yesterday, but look how pretty these are. So this is all Kiki K stuff, and this is like just kind of like a, I don't know what type of flower this is, like a daisy or something, but it's really pretty. And they had a matching B6 notebook, and it's, or a B6 ring planner. And inside this, there are gold rings, very pretty. And then I got multiple planners, so I got totally spoiled. I'm going to be doing a destash coming up because I have too many things, but I'm going to be keeping these. This one is A5, and it is like a peachy pink color. And yeah, so this one is B6 and this one is A5. So you can kind of see the size difference there. So this one has pears on it, and it's so pretty. And the pears seem to be kind of, I guess they're maybe rose gold, and then it has a rose gold clasp. And then on the inside, it's rose gold rings, which I don't have many that are rose gold rings. So I'm loving this. So this is also beautiful. And then the other one that I got, this is B6 too, and it's monogrammed, and you can kind of see it's also blind monogrammed here that says dream. It's kind of hard to see. But the woman who started Kiki K, her name is Christina Carlson. She did a set of books called Your Dream Life Starts Here. And then it came out with a Dream Life Journal. And I've been wanting to go through this because this is so much like my kind of thing, to go through this type of system. And I was thinking, along with my like 6-month plan, if you missed it on Friday, I was talking about I'm going to be doing this sort of 6-month transformation. And you guys, I had several of you mention in the comments or message me afterward that you would like to participate as well in this 6-month transformation. For me, this is going to be all about getting back to a healthier lifestyle, having more fun, like more gaming and more time with the kids, and decluttering my house a little bit more. I'm like, here, look at all this stuff I just got, but also I'm going to be getting rid of some stuff too. But I was thinking this might be the perfect time to go through this notebook, the journal, and this B6 Dream, I guess, just planner, is actually a companion to that. And instead of having like monthly spreads and stuff like that, this one has sort of like your dream life areas, like how do you rate your life right now? Where would you want it to be? And it's kind of funny for those of you who have been through HB90, it does actually have some similar types of things to the HB90. Like it has this blank space for your vision board and that kind of thing. So I think it'll be really good. And it has like action and task lists and stuff like that for what you want to change in your life. So I think this will be my kind of like 6-month transformation guidebook. So I was pretty excited to get all of those things. Then I kind of treated myself to a I don't know if I'm not going to say it right, but La Vidriola collab for Hello Kitty. So these are, La Vidriola is an artist in Spain, and they were doing a collab with Hello Kitty. These are all handmade, and they're numbered because there's only 80 of each piece. And this is the cutest thing ever. It's a little brooch. They had a bunch of like necklaces and other types of art, but this, if you're familiar with the Hello Kitty like world, this design of the coin purse with the little milk and the fish is the original Hello Kitty design. Like when they first created, the artist first created Hello Kitty, this coin purse was the original thing, not in a brooch, but in an actual coin purse. And so this was the very first like intro to Hello Kitty. And I got number 78 of 80. So I like barely got it before they sold out. So I was pretty excited to have that. I doubt I'll wear it as a brooch, but I'll probably like put it on my bag. And then the other one that I got, not as many people, I guess, have purchased this. So I got number 20 of 80, but this is just a little, like a little charm. And I have this black bag that I carry around a lot. So I think I'm going to put it on there. But anyway, just a couple little things. And then Friday, I don't know if M Writes is here. She's in our Discord channel, but Em, if you're here, she had asked about, because I had a bag sitting up on the back thing there on Friday, this bag, and she was like, oh, it's the Louis Vuitton Neverfull, but it's not, you guys. I am a bag person and I have like a desire for a Louis Vuitton Neverfull, but those bags are like $1,400. And I do have a Gucci bag that George got me for my 40th birthday that was like such a extravagant purchase that I got in Vegas. But I have wanted a Louis Vuitton Neverfull, but this is actually a dupe that I got at Walmart for $26. So if anybody wants a link to this, let me know, because it actually looks like really similar from a distance. You really can't tell the difference. So $26 or $1,400. I'll take the $26 and have it be pretty nice, because even the interior is pretty similar to the Louis Vuitton. So it's a Walmart bag, and they have it in the brown as well as the white and gray. So if anybody wants a link, I will post a link for you guys too. Yeah, $26, and it's a nice like bucket bag, so you can really fill a lot of stuff in it, and it seems to be well made. So this little sneak peek there. So those are some of my like purchases. Oh, also, I just thought I'd mention that in the Hello Kitty package that I got from Spain, they sent me some candies from Spain, which is like, how often can you get candy from Spain? There were a couple other pieces, so that was pretty cool. So I see a lot of you are like, oh, I prefer they look expensive, but not actually be expensive. I like that. Jenna says, me too. I love bags more than shoes. And I also am a bag person. I have always loved bags more than shoes. I used to have a couple pairs of like Prada shoes, but then my house burned down the second time and I lost everything. I lost all my bags, all my shoes, everything. And I just have never fallen in love with shoes again since then. So that is such as life. But anyway, today we are moving on with Rival Demons, and I am so very happy that you guys are here. So Craftlier, are they from Craftlier? Craftlier. Are which from Craftlier, Rena? Which things? A bunch of stuff. JD says, I'm a boots girl. Now, see, I have problems with boots because I have abnormally large calves and I can never fit well into boots. Even when I was at like super thin, I just have always had really big calves. And George was like, maybe it's because you spent your entire childhood either running through the woods or jumping on the trampoline. So I think maybe that has something to do with it. But when I can find a nice like wide calf boot that fits, that's what I love. So anyway, so we are going to do a quick recap of our Shadow Demons book. So I'm sure that most of you were here for all of that, but if you are here and you have not listened to the other book, what we are starting today is book 5 of my Shadow Demons Saga. So if you have not joined us for the first 4 books, you can totally enjoy this, but this is the kind of series where you need to have read the previous books because it's more like one long book that just continues. So if you want to catch up after today, I have linked the playlist for the first 4 books that we read here live on YouTube down below. And in all of those, we talk for about 10 or 15 minutes at the beginning, sometimes 20. So you can fast forward. I have tried to remember to put a timestamp in the first pinned comment every time, so you can just click on that and skip the talking and just listen. Eventually, once we're done with Demons Forever, because we're going to keep reading through the end of book 6, I will probably create like one long audio book basically without I'll splice out these videos so that you can just listen to it straight on. And there are going to be actual audiobooks that will be for sale on Audible and iTunes. So that's coming later this year. Thank you guys so much for saying about the necklace. This is what happens when you begin to actually clean your house. So I went through my closet last weekend and we got rid of 4 bags of clothes that were still nursing tank tops and maternity clothes and different stuff like that. And while I was cleaning, I found this necklace that I got probably 10 something years ago from New York and Company. And it was always one of my favorite necklaces. And I've rediscovered it. So I was pretty excited about that. So if you are new to this series, getting back to the point, if you're new to this series, you can go back and listen to those first 4 books, me reading them here on YouTube. You can also grab the first 3 books in a box set for free, totally free ebook box set. And then book 4 is only 99 cents. So for $1, you can catch up on all 4 books as fast as possible, and then join us for book 5 and then book 6 starting in July, I think it is. So, all right. Shadow Demons was book 4 of the Shadow Demons Saga. In this book, basically, this is the turning point of the whole series. Everything changes for Harper in this book. So basically, it starts off with her trying to figure out if there is, like, she's been trying so hard to figure out if there's a way to release Jackson's brother and herself from this demon gate, because Harper is a prima futura, meaning her family is the prima family locked into this demon gate there in Peachville. And the only way to free herself would be to die, in terms of what she knows about the order. And Jackson, having spent the last 50 years or so in Peachville, has researched, tried to figure it out, and he thinks there's just no way to free Airden, his brother Airden, from this demon gate. He's just locked in there until he dies. But once they found out what happened to Harper's mom, she was murdered. So we find this out in book 3. She was murdered by these group of crow witches. And what they were trying to do is to kill Harper's mom. And in a ritualistic killing, she would try to, they would try to transfer the line to the crows. And it failed, of course, because Harper's mother, Claire, was not the last of her line. She had secretly given birth to a baby who she had sent off to another, to foster care, or really to be adopted. So once they find that out, at the beginning of Shadow Demons, they're going through this crow village that has been abandoned, and they're looking for whatever dark magic books told them or taught them about this ritual in the first place, because they're hoping there's going to be an answer to how to free Airden and Harper from the Order of Shadows. So that's kind of the point of this book in Shadow Demons, is they're trying to find these answers. But as they start searching for those answers, what they discover is that somebody else has taken these books with this ritual. And it seems like somebody is trying to attack Harper. Well, in the end, it all turns out that there has been a conspiracy to get rid of Harper. And basically, Lydia Ashworth, who used to be Harper's mom's best friend back in high school and had her memories taken from her to a degree. There's a lot more coming about Lydia Ashworth in later books, but you won't see her much in this one. But she basically was in a pact with Brooke Harris's mom to try to transfer the line over to the Ashworth family or to the Harris family, and then Drake would marry Brooke, right? So they all had this thing of, well, I guess Harper's in so much trouble, or she's been such a troublemaker, we have no choice but to kill her and to transfer the line. So as she is about to be killed, Jackson, Marianne, and Leah swoop in, save her by doing the only thing they can do with Priestess Winter there, and such a huge part of the order there, is they take her through the portal into the Shadow World. And that is exactly where we are going to start off. So just to side mention this, as we were going through this book, there were these attacks on Harper, but it turns out they were actually illusions. And what it was Leah and her demon friends that she has were trying to sort of force Jackson to use his power to see if his powers had returned. And they were also, Leah just wanted to play around with Harper. And you'll find out more in this book as to why Leah holds such a grudge about Harper. And I will kind of warn you, because I was telling Janet this morning, I was like, there are some people that are going to really hate Jackson in this book, but you have to just hold on. You have to just hold on. You have to just believe in love. So we'll see. This book is going to be kind of tough on the couple here. So we are starting off at that exact moment. And this is definitely one of those things of, there's no going back to the old life. Harper, when the moment she found out at that party in Peachville, yet another party in Peachville, that Lydia Ashworth had betrayed her mother to the crows, she knew that she couldn't ever be a part of this order. She could never play this game anymore. And she attacked Lydia Ashworth in front of everybody which then gave them an excuse to want to get rid of her. And so at that point, there's no going back. They're never going to welcome Harper back into the fold. They're never going to allow her to take on this life as Prima. So her life diverges at this point because now she's in the shadow world, and things are about to heat up for sure. So episode 1 of Rival Demons, book 5, book number 5, PSA, wait it out, believe in love, have faith. That sounds good to me. Yeah. Because that's normal. No choice but to kill her to take over the line because troublemaker. Middle school and high schools would be half empty with that plan. It's so true. But when you have such corrupted people in control, they're just looking for any reason. They were going to get rid of Harper no matter what. And who knows what their plan was to get rid of her eventually. But she kind of did them a favor by attacking Lydia because it's like, she did the wrong thing. So here we go. Episode 1, A Whole New Life. I lifted my eyes to a foreign sun, inhaling the fresh scent of flowers as warmth seeped into my skin. I wanted to throw my tired arms into the air and twirl around like a little child. I'm alive. Jackson's warm hand entwined with mine, and I smiled. He had come for me. Standing there in the ritual room, I had believed I was dead. But the moment I saw his face and felt him pulling me through the portal, a whole new life opened up to me. He took me into his arms. I leaned against him, my legs weak. I hadn't eaten in days, and my wrists and ankles were raw from the order's iron shackles. Still, my heart swelled with love and gratitude. Behind us, Leah shouted for help. I turned to get my first real look at the scene. The blue light of the portal radiated out from a wide circle of black roses. Through the blinding light, I could just make out the Peachville ritual room on the other side. A black, inky darkness began to spread along the right side of the light, like an eclipse. That's when I noticed Leah standing beside the portal, a silver sword grasped in her hand. She swung the blade toward the black roses, severing them from their stems with furious precision. "Come on," she yelled. "I need help. If we don't move fast enough, they'll regrow." Marianne fell to her knees before the portal, wincing as her injured leg hit the rocky ground. She pulled a tiny dagger from her belt and began cutting the roses one by one. Jackson sprang into action, grabbing another sword from a large duffel bag on the ground at our feet. Disoriented, I watched as they worked to close the portal. With each severed rose, more of the blue light darkened to black. A strange fog began to ooze from the opening in the portal, moving across the area with startling speed. A vicious wind roared around us as the fog grew thicker. The swirling vortex blew me backward like a tornado. I struggled against it, throwing myself onto the ground and crawling toward the circle of black roses. Frantic, I began pulling the roses from their stems, not even caring as thorns sliced into my palm. Black petals flew all around us as we worked, but just as Leah reached the last handful of black roses, something broke through from the Peachville side. The figures moved so fast, I could only make out 2 streaks of orange moving like flames across the fog. I screamed as one streak collided with Jackson, sending him straight to the ground. I scrambled toward him, then froze as my eyes adjusted and the figure on his back came into clear view. A tiger. And not just any tiger. One of the shape-shifting twins who had come after me in the field when the Order of Shadows first captured me. One of the tigers who had stood outside my cell at Shadowford for the last week, making sure I would never go free. Chapter 2, Some Kind of Nightmare. The orange and black tiger bared its sharp teeth, lowering them towards Jackson's throat. Forgetting my exhaustion, I lunged toward them. I wrapped my arms around the tiger's middle and tumbled over the top of it, wrenching it away from Jackson's body. The entire left side of my body hit the rocks at full speed, and I cried out. The tiger, unhurt, straightened itself and hissed at me. I felt like I had entered some kind of nightmare. Time moved slowly, and the tiger leapt toward me, vicious claws extended. Instinctively, I threw my arms up to shield my face, but before the tiger could reach me, a stream of black energy raced toward it, slamming into her with such force that by the time she hit the ground, She was in human form again. I looked over my shoulder at Jackson. He stood tall, his chest heaving with each breath. Black smoke flowed from his hand to the auburn-haired girl, holding her to the ground. I stood, every muscle in my body protesting. She has a twin, I said, looking all around us. All I could see was the dark fog that surrounded the entire area around the portal. From where we stood, I couldn't even make out where Leah was. All I could see was the faintest blue of the portal's light somewhere to our left. I know, he said. I'm sure they came through together. Those two are inseparable. Panic coursed through me. What about Marianne? We have to find her. I took 2 steps toward the portal, bracing myself against the fierce wind. Marianne, I screamed, but no one answered. I knew Leah was capable of taking care of herself, but against one of the twins, Marianne would be in serious danger. We had to find her. When I turned back to Jackson, he had wrapped his black energy tightly around the first twin. She was bound in smoke-like chains, struggling hard against them, but getting nowhere. Will those things hold her? Jackson nodded. For a little while, he said. Then come on, I said, gripping his arm. We have to find the others. We ran toward the portal's light. Leah sliced at the black roses with her sword, but before she could clear them all, the ones at the beginning had begun to grow back. Frustration twisted her features. I can't get the portal to seal, she said. These damn roses are growing back too fast. Keep working, Jackson said, searching for his lost sword. We can't let anyone else come through. I swayed on my feet, my head spinning. I thought of the days of no food, lying on the hard wooden floor of Shadowford's attic, waiting for death. Please tell me I hadn't escaped that, only to end up right back where I started. Through the bright light of the portal, I could see another one of Priestess Winter's servants preparing to enter the shadow world. Even in my exhaustion, I understood what it would mean if more of the order broke through this barrier and dragged me through. In Peachville, I was a dead girl. I couldn't let them win. I wanted to live. I had to find a way to keep the witch from coming through. My aching muscles protested as I lifted my arms to cast. I wasn't sure it would work, but I thought of the shield Zara had taught me to use. What if that shield could work like a barrier? It might give us the extra time we needed to put a more permanent seal on the portal. I summoned every drop of energy I could find and concentrated on creating the shield. I knew I wouldn't be able to hold it long, but I hoped it would give them enough time to destroy the circle of roses. Just as my shield went up, I heard a loud roar behind us. I couldn't hold my concentration and the shield dropped. I cursed and bit back tears. From the corner of my eye, I saw the second tiger twin pounce toward Jackson. This twin's coat was similar to her sister's, but was colored with orange and white instead of black. I've got this one, Jackson said, fury and hatred in his eyes. You help Leah. I turned back to the portal just as the tiger dove forward. It took a lot of willpower not to look back to see what was happening. I had to trust that Jackson knew what he was doing. For now, it seemed to be just these twins who had broken through to the demon world. If Leah couldn't seal this portal, we would all die. We couldn't fight off an entire coven of witches, especially if Priestess Winter was one of them. I had to find a way to connect to my true power. I lowered my weary body to the ground and sat crisscross against the cold obsidian rock. I steadied my breathing and let all of the noise around me fade away. In my mind, I pictured one of my mother's cherished white roses. Finally connecting to the energy inside of me, I tried again to create a barrier against the witch's attacks. And this time, it worked. Chapter 3, A Dark Power. Spells blasted into my shield, leaving the taste of dark magic on my tongue. On the Peachville side, the witches worked to bring down the barrier I had created. My strength wavered, but I forced myself to hold on. Just a few more seconds. My body screamed as my energy slipped away. I wanted to sob. I wanted to give up. I wanted to lie down and sleep for 100 years. But more than any of that, I wanted to survive. I exhaled, feeling the last of my power slide through my fingertips. When I thought I couldn't give any more, the portal shifted, sealing with a sucking noise. A deafening silence settled on us as the wind stopped. Beside me, Leah leaned over, trying to catch her breath. Black petals and stems were strewn across the ground in every direction. She had finally managed to close the portal, and for the first time since I'd met her, I actually wanted to hug her. But we weren't out of danger yet. The twins were still on the Shadow World side. I turned to find Jackson and Marianne as the fog cleared. Jackson had the white tiger pinned to the ground, and she quickly shifted back to her human form. Her dark green eyes practically glowed as she snarled up at me. "You'll never be able to hide from us," she said. "The order won't stop until you're dead. All you're going to do is get your friends killed right along with you." "That's a chance we're willing to take," Jackson said, wrapping a smoky black ribbon around the girl's mouth. "Let her go," someone shouted. A flash of movement off to our right caught my eye as the other twin shifted into her orange tiger form, lunging toward Jackson with such speed I didn't have time to do anything but watch. Her claws scraped Jackson's arm, streaks of blood staining his t-shirt. He cried out and let go of his hold on the first twin as she shifted into her white tiger form. Both tigers now moved with incredible speed, circling me in an instant. I tried to run, but they kept me trapped between them. Leah laughed, and I jerked my head toward her. Seriously? With Jackson injured, me trapped, and Marianne nowhere to be found? How could she be laughing at a time like this? Apparently, the twins were wondering the same thing. The orange tiger stopped circling and turned to stare at Leah. "You think it's funny that your precious Prima is going to die?" "No, actually, I was just wondering what you think you plan to do with her now that you've got her surrounded," Leah said, smiling and raising an eyebrow. "In case you didn't notice, I sealed the portal. Trust me, there's no way anyone's going in or out of that thing for a while. How exactly are you planning to get Harper back to Peachville?" The white twin growled low and bared her pointed teeth at me. "We'll kill her here and now," the orange twin said. "You won't kill her," Leah said. "If the Order simply wanted her dead, they would have killed her a long time ago. No, the Order has gone to a lot of trouble to keep her alive so they could transfer her essence to a new Prima. Don't ask me why. For some reason, her essence is special to them. You need her alive so they can complete their ritual." The white twin shifted into human form and grabbed my arm so hard I knew it would leave a bruise. I tried to pull away, but the events of the past few weeks had finally caught up with me. I had no strength left, only anger. "You underestimate the power of the witches on the other side of that portal," the twin said. "They will break through soon enough, and when they do, all of you will die, including Harper. Only her death will happen in the ritual room, while yours will happen instantly." "The Order doesn't have the upper hand in this world," Jackson said. I'd never seen such rage in his eyes before. Blood dripped from his shoulder, but he barely seemed to notice. "Nothing they can do will open that portal for at least another few hours. Do you really think you'll still be alive by then?" As they argued, I scanned the area searching for Marianne. She had to be here somewhere. Maybe she had gotten scared and run off to hide, but where? Around us, the black rock seemed to stretch on for miles. Far in the distance, I could see some type of forest, but there was no way she would have been able to see that in the fog. No, she had to be close. Then I caught sight of a small form collapsed against the rocks about 50 feet away. My stomach twisted. Oh God, it was her, and she wasn't moving. Tears burned my eyes. They spilled down my face and soaked into the fabric of my dirty white ritual dress. "See," the orange twin said, amused by my tears. "Even Harper knows there's no hope now. Open the portal and maybe we can convince the Order to let you live." "What did you do to her?" I asked, my voice a whisper. I had meant to put more sound behind it, but I was breathless and scared. I tried again. "What did you do to Marianne?" At first, the twins both stared at me, as if they had no idea what I was talking about. Then the white twin followed my gaze over to where Marianne lay motionless against the rocks. She stifled a laugh. "Oh, her?" she said. "The little bird tried to peck my eyes out. I had to put her in her place." Rage boiled up within me, searing my skin. Marianne had risked everything to save me, more than once. She didn't deserve this, and it was all my fault. She'd come here to keep me safe. How could I have let this happen? Deep inside, a dark power burned through me like liquid fire. I acted on instinct, knowing only anger. They needed to pay for what they had done. I burned like a fever, my flesh becoming like hot coals. The white twin let go of me and stepped back, staring at her blistered hand in horror and confusion. Slowly, I lifted both of my hands upward. The ground beneath us rumbled, and all around, pieces of black rock rose into the air. The force of my hatred consumed me. It seemed to rip me apart, splintering me into a million little pieces. I wasn't myself. I was something dark and furious. Anger rolled through me, consuming me. In my mind, all I could see was Marianne's unmoving body, and all I wanted was revenge. I focused my anger on the white twin. Without even thinking, I summoned the crushing weight of all those rocks on her. The rocks flew through the air at lightning speed. Before anyone could react, the white twin was crushed and buried between a mound of rocks 6 feet high. The sister threw herself onto the pile, screaming and clawing at the rocks. When I realized what I had done, I lowered my hands and fell to my knees. I had killed someone. The strength drained from my body, leaving only an empty shell. I struggled to stay upright, but suddenly I was falling down into a sea of never-ending blackness. The last thing I heard before I slipped out of consciousness was the sound of Jackson calling my name. Chapter 4, For Forever. A fire roared nearby, sending shadows dancing across my eyelids. My eyes fluttered open, protested against the light, then closed again. I moaned, my body aching against the hard rock. A warm hand touched my cheek. Jackson. I didn't even have to open my eyes to know it was him. His hands were slightly rough and smelled of evergreens and firewood. I smiled, my dry lips cracking painfully. "How long have I been asleep?" I asked. My throat was sore. "Almost 2 days," he said. That woke me up. My eyes flew open in surprise, and I struggled to sit up. "Whoa, take it easy," Jackson said, his arm slipping around my back. "You've been through so much in the past couple weeks." Every muscle in my body protested as I came to a sitting position. Ouch. I guess lying on a cold stone floor for 2 days straight hadn't helped the situation. To be honest, it wasn't much better than the torture room they'd held me in Shadowford. At least here, my hands weren't shackled. I rubbed my wrist absently. They were still sore and bruised from the chains the order had kept me in. Then I remembered the twins, Marianne. I teetered backward, my stomach turning. Jackson's strong arm held me up. "Thanks," I said, tears stinging the corners of my eyes. I looked around the dimly lit cave. "Is Marianne?" Jackson motioned toward the back corner of the cave, and relief filled me as Marianne came into view. She was lying down, but there was no mistaking the rise and fall of her chest with each breath. "She's going to be okay," Jackson said. "She has a pretty mean scratch across her face and a bite on her side, but she's going to be okay. A few scrapes and bruises, but she'll heal, like you." Would I heal? I stared down at my tattered and bloodied dress. Yes, the wounds on the outside would heal, but I had killed someone out of hatred and anger. That was going to take some time to deal with. "The twins?" I asked, my voice cracking. Jackson reached into a black backpack and pulled out a large bottle of water. "Here," he said, "drink this." I stared down at the backpack. Had he brought that with him through the portal? I hadn't noticed it before. The water was lukewarm but beautiful. It slid down my sore throat like rain on a barren field, healing all the cracked parts. By the time I finally came up for air, there was only a small sip of water left in the bottle. "Thanks," I said. "Do you want some food?" he asked, avoiding my eyes. He rummaged through the backpack instead. My stomach growled at the thought. I was empty, a shell. But I wanted to know the truth about what happened, about all of it. "Just tell me," I said. "Did I kill her?" Jackson paused, his head hung low. The fire crackled. "You can't blame yourself for what happened," he said. "She was going to take you back to the order. You had no choice." I shook my head, the tears coming now. "That isn't true. You guys weren't going to let her take me back," I said. "I don't know what got into me. When I saw Marianne there on the ground, I just snapped. I never meant to kill her. I swear I didn't." Jackson wiped away a tear as it slid down my cheek. "I know you didn't," he said. "She wasn't a good person, Harper. She was evil just like the rest of them, and if she'd had the chance, she would have killed us all." I knew what he was saying was true, but it didn't make me feel any better. The power I'd used to move those rocks had come from a dark place, and I never wanted to go there again. I'd completely lost control. "What about the other one?" Jackson sighed. "When you collapsed, all I cared about was getting you to safety," he said. "The other twin was out of her mind, screaming and pulling on the heavy rocks. I knew once she saw her sister's dead body, she would come after you. And I had a feeling she wouldn't care about the order's rules." "So you just left her there?" I asked. He nodded. "I don't even think she noticed we'd gone," he said. "I scooped you up and Leah grabbed Marianne, and then we came here." I studied our surroundings again. We were in some kind of cave. Behind Jackson, there was a small opening, and I could see Leah sitting at the entrance, keeping guard. A warm fire blazed in the center of the room. The walls were made of the same black rock we'd seen on the ground near the portal, so I guessed we were still somewhat close to where we started. "Where are we?" "We're on the coast, a couple miles from where the portal to Peachville opens," he said. "We couldn't risk taking you too far, with both of you injured. Leah and I know this place from when we were kids. We'll be safe here for a little while." I put my hand on his knee, and his eyes flickered toward the entrance, toward Leah. Awkwardly, he shifted away. "I'm really glad to see you awake." "Awake and very hungry," I said with a nervous laugh. I had a feeling I still didn't understand everything that was happening here. Why had he moved away from me? Jackson reached into his backpack and handed me some crackers. "Take it slow," he said. "You haven't eaten in a while, and if you eat too fast, it's just going to make you sick." I looked at the bag of crackers in my hand. Then I lifted my head and studied the rest of the cave. Several blankets were laid out like sleeping bags. Leah's duffel bag full of swords lay near the back of the space. The food, the water, the supplies. How long had they been preparing for this trip to the shadow world? I took a bite and chewed slowly, questions swirling in my brain. "What exactly happened back there in Peachville?" I asked. "What do you mean?" I shook my head, trying to find the right words. "I mean, one second I thought I was going to die, and the next you were there pulling me through the portal. Was that planned or just some rash decision?" "After the order took you away, we searched for you," he said. "We thought they might take you to the headquarters for the order, but we couldn't find you anywhere. No one had heard or seen anything. Then one day at school, Mrs. King pulled Marianne to the side and warned her that the order had locked you away on the 3rd floor of Shadowford. They had the room heavily guarded at all times. We tried to find a way inside, but they placed a strong seal against the door inside Shadowford, and there was no way in. Luckily, Marianne overheard Mrs. Shadowford talking to the priestess about their plan to take you to the ritual room and transfer the line." I nodded, listening. I tried not to let them see that my hands were shaking. "That's when we knew the ritual was our best chance," he said. We knew that if we rescued you and tried to run, the Order would find us eventually. You weren't safe in the human world. Here, though, we would have the upper hand. We knew we would find a way to keep you safe here. So what is our plan? I asked. Now that we're here, do you think they'll send anyone else through after us? Jackson took out a bag of chocolate and popped a few pieces into his mouth. We're pretty well hidden where we are right now. I don't know if they've broken through the portal just yet, but you can bet they'll have someone looking for us. If not one of the witches from their side, someone on this side for sure. I frowned. This side? Yeah, they have lots of servants on this side, both demons and witch, he said. If I had to guess, I would think they'll be sending hunters after us. What are hunters? Witches who have been here for over 100 years, he said. They're the ones who decide which demons are taken to be slaves in your world. So they're humans? I asked, confused. How do they live so long? They were human at some point, Jackson said, but I wouldn't really call them that anymore. They've performed dark magic for so long they've been corrupted by it. Plus, time is different here in the shadow world. Humans who are bound to demon energies will live a lot longer here, and the hunters, sometimes they're bonded to more than one demon. I shuddered. More than one demon? That had to make them both extremely powerful and extremely evil. I didn't like the sound of someone like that hunting me in a strange world. How long do you think we'll stay here? I asked. Jackson looked toward the mouth of the cave, his gaze lingering on Leah. Another day or two, max, he said. I leaned back against the wall of the cave and ate a few more crackers. We would probably have to stay out of Peachville for a long time, at least until we could figure out a way to either defeat the Order or free Airden, but at least we'd be back in the human world soon. Then what? I asked, hoping he'd already come up with some kind of brilliant plan for getting back without the Order finding us. Then we're heading to a place called the Underground, he said. We'll be safe there as long as we can convince them to let us in. Why wouldn't they? Jackson shifted uncomfortably. The demons in the underground aren't exactly fans of most humans, considering most of the humans they've ever known were members of the Order, he said. He looked at Leah again. I'm sure we'll be able to get in, though. Leah has some pretty serious connections in this world. I paused. Wait, so this place isn't back home? I asked. It's here in the shadow world? Jackson's shoulder slumped, and he bit his lip. Harper, he said, pausing as if to find the right words. You can't go back home. I thought you understood that. I stopped mid-chew. What was he talking about? I studied his face, trying to make sense of it. Then my hands began to tremble. For how long? It took him a long time to answer, and when he did, it cut me straight to the core. For forever. Chapter 5, How Can You Be So Sure? Had I heard him right? There was no way he expected me to live in the shadow world for the rest of my life. That was ridiculous. I must have misunderstood. What do you mean forever? I mean you can never go back there, Harper, he said. The Order of Shadows is too powerful. They'll find you no matter how far we run. So we find a way to fight. I pulled my knees up close to my chest. Despite the fire, I was shivering. And what about Airden? Do you just plan to leave him over there all alone? Eventually, I will die, even here. Then what? Jackson closed his eyes, his jaw clenched as if trying to keep himself from saying something. I won't just sit back and let them win, Jackson. His left hand balled into a tight fist. You're not listening to me, he said. They'll kill you. Or did you forget everything that happened a few days ago? If we hadn't shown up and brought you here, they would have already killed you. But you did show up, I said. Alone, I might not have a chance, but if we all stick together, we barely made it out of there alive. Jackson said. We didn't even have the power to fight them all. They're too strong. All I did was freeze them long enough for us to pull you through that portal. If we had stayed to fight, we'd all be dead right now. Maybe so, I said, practically shouting at him, but it was 4 of us against a few dozen of them. Toward the back of the cave, Marianne shifted and moaned. I took a deep breath and lowered my voice. What if we built an army? I asked. If we find enough witches and demons to fight with us, we could win with sheer numbers. And how are we supposed to do that? He asked. Every time we get a coven of witches on our side in the human world, the order kills them all without hesitation. And here in the demon world, there are a handful of rebels, but most demons are under the rule of the king of the north, who would rather ignore the order's entire existence while our citizens are stolen outright from under us. Maybe we could talk to the king, reason with him, tell him what we've seen the order doing to the demons. Maybe he just doesn't understand. The king isn't going to listen to a human, Leah said, taking me by surprise. I hadn't heard her move from her spot at the mouth of the cave. She stood next to the fire and nudged a log with the tip of her boot, sending sparks up into the air. Then maybe he'll listen to you and Jackson, I said. We are the last demons he would listen to, she said. Besides, he isn't going to change his mind about the order. He's a coward when it comes to fighting them. How can you be so sure? I said, lifting my chin defiantly. Leah laughed and shook her head. Because he's my father. Dun, dun, dun. The chat is so quiet. I'm like, am I still alive? Is everybody there? Are you guys there? Okay, so a bit of a twisty beginning. Here at the end, we find out a couple of big things about what is going on here with this whole trip into the shadow world. So they had obviously prepared it. They had known for a few days. They pulled them through. And we find out there at the end that Jackson's saying, Harper can never go home again. This isn't just like a temporary trip to, shadow world for a couple of days. Like, we can never go home again. This is where you have to stay and we have to hide you. Then the next thing that we find out is not only is the king of the north not sympathetic, but he is Leah's father. So Leah is the princess of the northern kingdom. So that hopefully makes you a little bit more interested in hearing more about her story and how she ended up in the human world after being a princess. Like, how did that work out for her? How did that happen? So plus there's a little bit of obvious tension there going on between Harper and Jackson that's only going to get worse in next. So who is whose father? So the king of the north, the demon king of the northern kingdom, is Leah's father. So she is the princess. I did see some questions about, hadn't Harper already killed some people? So in book 1, Agnes dies, but it's not really Harper who kills her. It's Airden who kills her. Then in book 2, when the others are there with Jackson, she does, with the help of Airden, again, they do kill some of those people. I think there's 3 of them, Isaac and a few others. But it's a little bit of a different situation because it's not like, oh, I want to kill you because you're just standing there and I'm just angry at you. It's more of like, you're about to kill me and I have no choice. But in this case, it really rocks Harper's world because it's not just that I've killed you to save my own life. It's like we had them subdued. Nobody's necessarily, fighting here. We're outnumbering these 2 people, but she just got so angry about Marianne that she accessed a darker side to her magic here. And that was a difficult thing for her. So self-defense versus I'm angry. And I think what scared her was the sheer, she at this point believes that she has nothing left to give, only to find that she also is capable of things that she didn't know. So yeah, she technically has killed people before, but in a much more, we have to save our own lives. And really it's Airden's kind of doing more so than hers. And now it's kind of like, okay, this was bad. I killed someone who not is innocent, but is and wasn't really helpless, but just was kind of standing there, not actively attacking. Cheese. There's no cheese. Can you say hi?
Hold it.
Hold it. Okay, I got it. Can you say hi, everybody? You say hi. Hi.
Stop.
Help.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. So very cool. Say hello, everybody. Nope. She's just gonna reach on and try to get everything. She's not wanting to say hello lately. So
Never.
say hi. She said never. So yeah, she is getting so big, you guys. She is officially 20 months. So we're only like 3.5 or so months away from being 2 years old, which is crazy. Andrew turns 9. No, Evie. Andrew turns 9 in a month. So they said hi, George. Yes, and she says stuck when she isn't where. Yep. Who is that? Tell them who that is. Who is this? Kitty. Hello, Kitty. Her vocabulary is really growing and growing, so it's really fun. She's trying to find new ways to express herself, and it's getting better and better every day. So we're really enjoying seeing that kind of move. And yes, terrible 2s, right? I always felt like 3s were almost worse than 2s. So I guess we'll see. Evie can check her planner for Bubby's birthday. I know she's loving writing and all that stuff. So I don't know what we're going to do for her birthday. We have not really thought about it for Andrew. So Andrew is on screens. Don't mess that up, please.
Yeah.
Not that she's like, whatever. So Andrew now has his screen time and he's playing Roblox from 4:30 to 5:30 because that just kind of works out a little bit better because he's been playing basketball in the afternoons. So he's not joining us as often as he used to. Evie?
Hello, Kitty.
Yeah, more Hello Kitty. We're going to move it over here to the side, okay?
Hello, Kitty.
But I hope that you guys, the 3-teenager age, I agree, is brutal. It's really hard.
Hello, Kitty.
Yeah. Here, why don't you play with this Hello Kitty? How about this one? She's a little queen, just like Leah's little princess. So some exciting news about Leah. So now you know a little bit more about her, but I am excited for you guys to learn even more. So there will be some more emotional moments in Wednesday's episode 2, where you're going to find out a little bit more about what's really going on a little bit more. And this kind of gets, I guess, slowly a little bit, and you'll find out a little bit more about the shadow world as we move on. So it's going to be a wild ride. This book has arguably one of the biggest twists at the very end of all of my series, but all of this book so far, this series so far. But I will say that Vengeful Darkness that I'm currently writing is going to trump it, I believe. So it's going to be really tough. So good luck with that, you guys. If you've caught up and you're looking forward to it, Vengeful Darkness will now be out. That's book 11 in the series. It will now be out on June 1st. So you can pre-order it. I don't know if I have a link for it down below, but if I don't, you can find it on my website at sarahcannon.com. It's going to be crazy.
Okay,
but
Google.
No, don't talk. Oh, it actually opened. Hopefully that didn't open anybody else's Google. Sorry, I apologize. It's probably going to respond to me in just a minute because now it's listening. So the drama does ramp up every single one. This one's going to be a pretty fun one. And I have to say, I have really been enjoying revisiting all of these books in this way and seeing you guys react to it, because I think that is really fun to see how you react to this news for the first time. But I kept like looking at the comments and I was like, nobody's commenting. Am I still live? And like making sure it still said I was live. So hopefully that means you guys were engrossed. Some of these, here's a shell. Some of these episodes are going to be even longer than this one. So if you guys start to feel like the episodes are a little bit too long, like too much reading time, and you start to drift off or whatever, let me know if it's too long to really focus for that. Because I think today's episode, we didn't start until 20 after. So it was about 35 minutes of straight reading. But some of the other episodes in this book, you want it? My necklace?
Yeah.
Necklace?
Yeah.
Yeah, are going to be more like 12 pages. So even longer than this, like maybe 40 to 45 minutes. She likes the bling too, apparently. So let me know if that starts to get too long and I can kind of readjust. But I tried to pick what felt like the best, like dun 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 kind of moments. And I thought in this one, it was like, well, it's a pretty good moment when he says they have to stay there forever. But then it's an even better moment when you find out that Leah is a princess, a demon princess, which I think is fun. So, more to come on Wednesday. So I appreciate you guys all being here. Thank you so much for staying on with yet another episode or another book, and we will continue on with this. I posted our schedule on Friday, but I'll post it again down below. We are going to take a little bit of a break kind of in the middle, and that will be due to the Memorial Day holiday. But other than that, we're going to be live every Monday, Wednesday, and then Fridays for coffee chats. So I will see you guys there. Also, I just thought I would mention before I go, I know it's 1 hour in, but George and I are going to be playing EverQuest 2 again. This is just part of my like wanting to have a little bit more like fun, non-working time. And there's a new server opening up. This is a massive multiplayer online RPG game, kind of like WoW. It came out before WoW, but we're playing EverQuest 2, and it was the game that George and I met on. If anybody wants to join us and play EQ2, we're going to be playing on a PvP server. So you are welcome to come join us. And we've been kind of talking about it a little bit in the Discord server. So if you're not in the Discord server and you want to come join us, it is linked down below if you'd like to come join. But thank you all so much for being here, and I will see you all on Wednesday. I can't wait. There will also be our first Teaser Tuesday going up both in Discord, Instagram, and Facebook and the Coven tomorrow. So you'll get your first little teaser of Vengeful Darkness tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to that. All right, you guys, we'll see you later. Can you say bye?
Bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh, that was a cute little smile. I love you. Yeah.
Love you.
Oh, she said love you. Did you guys hear that? Say love you.
Love you.
Love you. Okay, we'll see you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.